for it to actually work using this syntax. Moving forward, we define the login.
And I want to, but
Mhm.
I want to throw in one piece though, Mohammed. For those of you all who may not, know what an ORM is, and excuse me because I'm catching a cold, so if I sound really muffled, but essentially it's pretty much an extension, used for relational databases. And what it does is it allows, this Flask application to communicate with, with the database, but without having to initialize like, raw SQL queries and stuff like that, right? So it makes it, a, you know, it's really good because you're able to communicate with SQL. You're able to get something out quick and dirty, but you don't have to actually learn those really very specific SQL queries. So that's a pretty strong element of the Flash library. Go ahead, Mohammed.
And as George said, like these are backend libraries that are built by software developers. So you can abstract away actual SQL commands, right? Most developers don't work with SQL. They're dedicated SQL database administrators there, right? And most people don't learn that language. So with ORMs, you can easily handle SQL or any other databases and set up these commands in the language you're comfortable with. Uh, Moving forward, the next thing is we are defining routes here. So the first route is the login route. The methods that we're permitting are get and post methods. So we define the login routes logic. So if the form is not validated, it's going to simply render the template login.html and send the form that we initiated right here, which is the login form object that we defined in our models in our forms above. If the form is clicked and submitted, the user first queries the database for the username and finds the first username with that name basically that's similar to that. Then if that username and the form.password data, which means the password that we entered within the form is equal to the user, plus it also looks and decrypts the password that we encrypted using the key generated above. We'll go over the registration for a function nest where the encryption occurs, but using cipher suite variable that we created above where we saved the key within the fernet object, we use that variable to decrypt the password that's encoded within our database and decode that and match that with the password within the form. If that matches, it logs in the user using login user feature of Flask, and then it redirects the URL to dashboard. The next route is the register route. Again, we're using the get and post methods here. We define register by first initializing a form, which is the register form that we defined above. And if we use the get route and we don't submit the form and we do a post request, we render a template register.html with the form that we initialized here. And if we do a post request and validate the form and submit the form in the registration page, it first hashes the hashes or ciphers the password using within the hash password variable, where we again call on the cipher suite, which is the fernet key object, and encrypt the password that we get and encode it. Then we create a new variable called new user, where we initiate the user model. We add the username that we get, we put in the hashed password, and we put in the email from the form, and then we add that to the database and then commit it to the database, and then we redirect to the login page where we can log in basically. So that's basically how the registration logic works. I'm not going to go too deep into these logics because I think we've already covered that in one of our previous videos, but uh, it's even without that, it's a very simple logic to implement. And you can easily write down that logic. With the dashboard, we're not doing anything fancy here. We're returning a hello string with the current username of that user from the database. And logout is just a route that, if you call this route, it's going to log you out. These login required decorators, they make sure that you're logged in if you're to access these routes basically. And again, this code here, it just makes sure that your Flask application runs when you run the Flask run command, basically. Now we'll enter the virtual environment where we have set this application up using the source command, and open mynv. That's an environment we created. There's a bin folder within that, and within that folder there's a file called activate, and we use source command. And yeah, so I mean, so that should work, and that we should enter the virtual environment using that. Now we run the command called flask run to run the Flask application. It should run. Now we have this IP address. We're going to copy this address. We're going to open that at localhost address here. Yeah, we haven't defined the home page, so we're just going to go with register here. We're going to open register. We're going to add the username test. We're going to add the email random@gmail. We're going to add password. And we're going to register the application. Yeah, I think we might have written the password incorrectly, and as we have not entered error handling because we don't need that right now, so I'll just make sure that the passwords are exactly the same.
Yeah, well, in terms of error handling piece, just want to, let the viewers know that, we're just trying to get something out quick and dirty, so to kind of show this functionality. Obviously, in building, larger applications, you want to get in your error handling, unit testing, etc. But that's for a later video.
So we're getting an integrity error, which basically means that we have a similar user already saved. So I think that's why we're getting this error. So we probably need to basically, just use another username and see if that works. And that request went through. And again, like, these are database errors that you need to, in most cases, just handle the errors. And because the user cannot see these internal server errors or these errors being depicted as they are on the screen. So you need to have a way to handle these errors in a professional web application where what the user sees is something that that you see, like those 404 error pages that when you open on a website, or so on and so forth. Like,
Right.
those are the pages
Exactly.
that are set up to handle these errors in case the user goes to where it shouldn't, or the application has some faulty responses. Do you want to add
Exactly.
anything to that, George?
Oh, no, no, no. You're spot on.
We just logged in, application worked with the encryption feature that we added, and we see this the name of the user here and hello with that. Now we're just gonna go to the logout URL. I think we forgot to create a button here, but that button should lead to the logout route, and it should log our application out, and we're
Yep.
logged out.
Yep. And we've kind of shown the logout feature on previous videos on the channel. We need to try to link that up. But essentially, we've kind of went through, how to build this simple application. And later on, what I'm going to do, I really think we're going to do this, Mohammed. Go ahead and integrate maybe a roundup feature or something like that on a previous video that we worked on, and get it, to get it pretty safe in case we deal with some, with some APIs that really need security, right?
Mm-hmm.
But go ahead, Mohammed.
Yeah. So I mean, definitely, like, that sounds great way to a great integration that we can explain a lot of concepts through. But like a good thing about this integrity error we were getting, it showed us something that I think was very important to see to actually get more in-depth understanding of what we're doing here. So this is the basically was the entry I was doing previously, random in the SQL, and this is the SQL language, insert into user. Like this is a SQL language, right? It's not difficult, but you still need to understand it and work with it for a while before you get comfortable in actually leveraging this language directly. But this is what the ORM is doing for us on the back end, right? It's converting our
Right.
requests into this language here. But coming back to it, like we entered the username random with a password and an email. We see the password here, random, and we see the email at the end here, right? And this is the username, sorry, not the password. This is the password here, like this weird
Yes.
string of numbers here. And I didn't enter that. My password was random. Why is it so weird like this? That's what the 256 encryption methodology is doing, right? It's encrypting it in such a way, and it's expanding the length of the string as well, because in that way brute force attacks would never work even if there's no limitation to that. But secondly, this is such a convoluted mess of characters that people can't easily identify what they mean. And user on the flip side, such a password user, it would be very difficult for a user to remember. So a user uses a simple word on a password, let's say random in my case here, right? But the encryption methodology makes sure it's stored in a very, very convoluted way that makes sure that the password remains secure and is safe from brute force attacks. And the user does not have to remember this complicated mess of characters, and they can just remember their password as random. But on the backend side, the password is secure. It's long. It has different characters in it, making sure that it's very, very secure. And until the key is accessed, which is probably very, very difficult to do, this password is safe from being hacked or used basically. And I think with that, we would wrap our video. Anything to add at the end, George?
Yeah, I mean, essentially, I just wanted to, just talk real quick about, full stack development, and because as you can see, we're dealing with a little bit of front end, a little bit of back end and Python. We you see the decorators, etc. We're obviously using a database, etc. The thing is that if you are a new developer, I strongly, strongly, strongly recommend getting good at one language. The language that I started off with was Python before I broke out into other languages. So I just kind of wanted to say that. So when you start to look at kind of these database queries, etc., you know, if you are a new developer, I would strongly recommend, kind of leveraging ORMs and frameworks like this initially, and getting strong at a basic language, and then kind of build your skills up and let them cascade from there. But other than that, Mohammed, do you have anything else before we end the video?
Yeah, it was just like, if our viewers found any utility or learned anything from our video, we will, I would request them to like and subscribe the video and let us know if they have, there's any topic that they want us to create a video on, so that other people like them can take advantage of this free resource and,
Yeah,
learn more about programming.
and definitely, and in addition to that, if you guys have any ideas or any thoughts or anything that you kind of wanted us would like for us to kind of demonstrate, you can definitely comment in the comment section. It helps us with the algorithm, A, and B, we can take some of those ideas and kind of help, maybe like help people out and kind of show them the ropes. Like obviously we won't be able to service everybody's demands eventually, but right now, maybe like once a week, I think Muhammad or myself can have a look and see if we can respond and kind of help out. That's all I
All
have,
right.
Muhammad.
All right. And with that, we'll be wrapping our video, and we'll see you on our next video.